What? What you say?
And admission is only $10.
That's WHCR's Hearts Meet When House People Meet Valentine's Day Party.
On Thursday, February 14th from 6 p.m. to midnight at Image Nation's Raw Space.
And then after you leave the WHCR Valentine's Day Find a Mate party, then there's the after party.
Oh, boy, I'm going to skip the party and go to the after party.
You gonna find a mate?
It's the Long Island lady talking.
Long Island. Yeah. Gotta put the pinky up when you say that.
I didn't know it was that simple. You just find a mate, because I've been waiting a long time.
All right, now. What were we talking about?
I think we're talking about Co-op City.
Co-op City.
Right, so last Saturday.
No, I got one better than that. I'm going to fix all y'all.
Okay.
You got one for all y'all. See, watch how I roll.
If you know the symptoms and get the facts, you'll know the
symptoms.
sign of a heart attack. Women, listen to me, and when I'm done,
I'm having a heart
attack.
Pain in the neck, chest,
arms, the jaw,
shortness of breath.
Please tell us more.
Lordy.
Tiredness.
I got it for you, Daddy.
Serious.
We will get difficult right about that.
Flutters, if you know the symptoms and heed the signs, you'll be around for a long, long time. Women, listen to me, and when I'm done, if any sound familiar, call 911.
Learn a song that can save your life. Get a free download at womenshealth.gov/heart attack.
That's all our mics are open, by the way.
Everybody hears that I love you. That's all they hear. They hear that I love you.
If any sound familiar, call 911.
A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
911.
Where do you want to go to lunch?
I'm having a stroke.
Did you hear what I said?
I'm having a stroke.
Why aren't you answering me?
I'm having a stroke.
What's up with your face?
I'm having a stroke.
That's not normal. Is something wrong?
I'm having a stroke.
Are you having an allergic reaction?
I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear.
I'm having a stroke.
You just need to know the sudden signs. Look for FAST, F-A-S-T. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. Or S, speech difficulty. Then T, time. Time to call 911 immediately, because the sooner they get to the hospital, the sooner they'll get treatment. And that can make a remarkable difference in their recovery. Know the sudden signs. Face, arm, speech, time. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
And thank you. And very serious announcement, because folks is dropping like flies.
You saw I got real quiet in there.
I noticed that the pinkies went down and everything else.
Everybody got serious. Stop chuckling for a
Tell
moment.
me about Co-op City. What's happening in Co-op City?
Okay, yes. So Co-op City, just a few weeks ago, there was a shooting in the Section 5 area about 11:30 in the morning on Sunday. Yeah, you know that this is
Sunday morning, busy, going to church crowd.
Absolutely, absolutely. And many people could have been hurt just going, to worship. And so we partnered up with the faith-based leaders in the community, the organizations, and we just had a prayer rally. No, let me not call it a rally, because then that changes the dynamics. It was a prayer walk in peace. And we went from Hutchison Parkway to the community center in Section 5, but we were able to sit with our elected officials and the police department at the 45th precinct, and so everyone came together, and we just spoke about taking back our sections. So just as we occupied the corners last year, we are occupying our sections. So that is the initiative that the residents of Co-op City, along with myself and others, will be, getting together.
And what's important is that we have consistency with that. And we're hoping that this will happen in other communities, because we believe that what we do today will affect our tomorrow. When we, in gang terminology, this is the come-up season. And it's from this season until just after April 9th or so. Then comes the payback season, and violence starts to take an upward turn. So what we believe that if we now start to organize, and if we now start to put a positive feel in our community about strengthening our community and ending the violence, silencing the violence, and we do that effectively, this year's murder rate will dip even lower than last year.
You know, this year is lower than last year, but it still is.
It still is.
Right.
You see, and that's where my concern lies, the fact that, being a pen back, that there still is shooting and killing out here.
I wanted to add on to this because I believe the last couple of times that I was here, we had a play called Crossing the Switchblade, which was by
familiar with it.
Yes, it was by David Wilkerson, was the founding pastor who originated to come out to New York City to start with the gang members back in the 50s. But the youth caught the vision, and so now this year the youth department has decided that they were going to have the play production of the Crossing the Switchblade at Times Square Church on 237 West 51st Street. Now they had it just for 2 nights, but God gave them the green light to extend it. So now, as of this February, every Friday, they are still having extended production, so that anyone that has concerns about the youth, I hope there's someone out there that does have concern about the youth and the drugs and the violence that's going on. They can come and bring their people, their youth department, whoever they want to come, bring their families. Every Friday as of February at 7 o'clock p.m., this play production, it must be seen to reach out to those who do have youth and children who are in trouble on the streets or who are in violence that need to come out. And if you don't know what to do, God has the answer, and prayer is there. So the youth department is putting on the play, Crossing the Switchblade, every Friday this month at 7 o'clock.
Co-op City.
Right?
Yeah.
Co-op City. Middle class community built for middle class folks, now in the heart of gang violence. How do we get there?
Well, it's external affecting the internal.
Okay.
A lot of the other housing complexes around there are coming into Co-op City and causing a violence problem there. Now, in Co-op City, there is a drug problem. You can't get away from that. And there is an existing gang within Co-op City. Okay. Because when you got drugs, then you got people being arrested. Right. And you got people being arrested, that means they go to jail. And when they go to jail, then they become part of either one of the 2 fastest growing gangs on the East Coast is the YBs and the YGs, the Young Bosses and the Young Gunners. And of these 2 factions, it's the YGs that are in Section 5. So, I'm sorry, the YBs that are in Section 5, and they're being indicted by the YGs who are outside, who are struggling for superiority that they're losing ground on because the YBs are growing.
And the question is, what are they fighting over? Honestly, we have so much to do in our communities. You know, you have parents and grandparents that are taking care of these young children, these young adults. The kids that were shooting a couple of weeks ago, they were about 15 years old, just...
Well, the 15-year-old was an innocent bystander in reference to that shooting. The 17-year-old, the story that I alluded to earlier, right. He is a gang member and is a person who of his family left Co-op City, but he keeps returning back, and every time he comes back, there's a shooting.
Just teenagers. They're not paying no bills. They're not dealing with,
responsibilities.
Well, yeah.
If there was any type of land conquests involved, territorial, where you would have...
Well, it is very territorial.
Territorial, conceptually. I mean, territorial as far as documents and deeds. I now own this property, and I can resell this property.
Well, you see, that's where we get into a skewed perspective. Some of the young people are just followers, and they wannabes. But then there are the OGs who were either Bloods or Crips who are there, who are orchestrating a drug trade, a sex trade, a gun trade, and it's just the reality. And there may even be a couple of senior citizens. I mean, I was shocked when I found out about, I'm going to call him M on 111th Street, Lenox Avenue, because, I know this guy. I see this guy in the community. So I was shocked when I found out that he was the gun supplier.
Good morning, you're on the air.
Yes, if I can see you off the air, I'd be grateful.
Okay, hold on. Ooh, I dropped it. Call back. Sorry, I lost it. You there? Yeah, I dropped the call. Hit the wrong button. Call me back. But now, where do we go from here? We've all got the desire to change things. Where do we go?
This is Black History Month. And, I as an individual would be elated to see black solidarity go beyond Black History Month in an ideal. Mm-hmm. In an ideal. Because in an ideal, I've told people this, and some people look at me strangely. I tell them that January and February is the most difficult time of the year for me. They say, why? I said, because January, we celebrate Martin Luther King. Yeah. February, we celebrate black history, right, and all our black leaders. And then for the next 10 months, we're the most divided people on the planet. Fighting against one another, backstabbing one another, talking ugly about one another, kicking the shovel out of, as my godfather said, kicking the shovel out of my hand. And I would love to see us really come together. And then we can start working on
Black History Month. Should be not. It shouldn't even be like you said. Yeah, we should continuously celebrate our history. I just came from a celebration last night at the UFT headquarters, 52 Broadway. Yesterday, Ma Dukes was there, and officials, Andy King, the councilman up there in the Co-op City section, who was out there for the prayer walk. And this room. There was so many educated and people that were really down with the civil rights struggle, right? Who originally understood that it was a selfless, you had to go out and you had to march, you had to rally, you had to be a part of the system and not just sit back and just,
How does that attitude of that room that you described get down into our teenagers' mind? I looked at The Sopranos last night. Tony Soprano had taken his son back to the old neighborhood to try to show him where his grandfather worked, and they put the church together. They did this, that, and the other. All these things.
That's where it starts.
So how do we get our young people to be concerned? Come on, I need you to be concerned about what's going on in the community.
It's education and awareness. Our earlier civil rights struggle, Dr. Martin Luther King, we're talking A. Philip Randolph. Our children they've detached themselves from the movement.
I can't relate to that. That means nothing to them. A. Philip Randolph was my neighbor in the Dunbar. So what? We were talking with Adam Powell earlier this morning. So what? Percy Sutton, so what? They don't relate to any of that. What can we use, short of Jay-Z and Russell Simmons, to reach the masses? What can we do?
Right. So even with the education, that awareness piece has to come from our Jay-Z's, from our... Well, that's where we hold them accountable, really. So I had a discussion with a group of parents, and they were talking about eliminating the amount of television time, right? And just recording it after 30 days, just to see how much TV you didn't watch, how many videos you didn't watch. And for one person to say, okay, I didn't watch 24 hours of television and video this month, okay, it makes some difference. But when you have 2,000 people that have eliminated hours and hours of television and video time, it speaks to the producers. That speaks to these entertainers that put this stuff in our community. So it's holding people accountable. And I think we just buy the material, we listen to the material, and then we don't, even worry about putting the resources back into our community to help really educate them.
I think that the latest, and this goes into a whole other topic. Good morning, Sister Lenora Fulani. Our president is talking about now they want to start looking at the makers of video games and things of that nature. But that goes into a whole nother area that she and I discussed a while ago. about the whole government takeover, which goes back to what that sister was talking about kind of earlier, before she went off on that, about how the government involvement in so much stuff in our community is all part of that whole takeover, government meets all our needs thing. But as much emphasis is placed on assault weapons, as we said earlier, there's still no emphasis placed on handguns.
Right.
If they sit down and do studies of video games, that's going to lead to government censorship of video games, which violates additional human rights. This thing they have now where they're teaching the kids, you saw it in the news last night, teaching the kids how to run the combat course, the SWAT team course, they're teaching the kids. And I didn't notice any children of color in that.
Being taught that.
9:27 a.m. So there's something behind that too. You see, but this is all the values. I think we have lost, because you don't even find the militancy that we used to find, that some of us ran to, some of us ran from. But it was a black thing. We were militant. Say it loud, I'm black and proud.
Yeah.
It's not even that anymore. So what can we use? The church is not doing it entirely. Individual community groups aren't doing it, which is where the sister was saying she wasn't completely off track. What can we do? We got National Action Network here. We got me with this radio program and thousands of people listening across the country. What can we do to effectively reach out and or make a dent in this youth violence that's going to be the death of the four of us dinosaurs in this room?
Well, you know.
Well, maybe not the two y'all ain't.
But definitely me.
I'm a dinosaur.
I'm a dinosaur.
I'm a dinosaur. And,
you know, I think to answer that, Brother Bill, from my perspective, you know, in my imperfection, to do the best that I can to bring about change. You know, starting with me.
Yeah.
And you know, one of the things when you and I started this journey so many years ago, I always said to myself, you know, I got to stay outside of the box, and it isolated me from a lot of people because I had to speak truth to power. And I think in that vein, I've been consistent. I get myself into some trouble. You know, I'm not the best guy, but I think that if everyone would take that stand and say, you know what. And I think that, yeah, we might bicker. We might not agree on everything. But I think that our babies are just as valuable as anyone else's baby.
But when we see the pressures that they're under at 11 and 12 years old, 8, okay, they haven't even made tangible life decisions yet. Okay, and they're under pressure.
They're under pressure
to be a part of this thing or that thing, be it a sexual attraction,
a gang,
which is a gang, and put yourself out there to purposely be arrested, to get arrested to make you acceptable now in this group.
It's dysfunctional. It is totally.
No. It's just last week. Brother Bill, up in the Bronx, you know, a young brother was arrested for assaulting a 9-year-old. Now, this is a 7-year-old assaulting a 9-year-old.
Threw him off the roof.
No. This is another situation.
Oh, my goodness. All right? That means that there's too many situations.
Okay, but, you know, in this situation in the Bronx, I don't want to say the kid's name. In the situation in the Bronx, you know, the young fella was a gang member, 7 years old. A gang member. And terrorizing an upperclassman in a grade school.
In order to get creds.
In order to get street creds.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
But see, you got to understand something. This was being onlooked by people pontificating from the periphery.
Exactly.
Adults.
Exactly.
Adults. But when he got arrested, then everybody wanted to make noise. Oh, what the heck is NYPD putting their hands on my babies for?
Police brutality.
I don't deal with hypocrisy.
I
try not to. I try not to. Even the hypocrisy in me, I go and I try to flush that puppy. Come on. So
rather
that's
than
you make a good point, Rev. You make a good point. And so if I had to answer that question, right? I do workshops, you know, outside of the National Action Network, and I focus on personal development, right? So What is that personal development? That's just the process of being a better you. You know, you don't need a degree for it. We can get better at being us every single day.
When do you do these workshops and where?
These workshops in churches.
I need the list of where you're doing this at.
Okay.
Because I'm going to wake the town and tell the people.
Okay.
Because something that's being done has to be made aware to the people, because as I said, when kids are going out to commit crimes to purposely get arrested, that's bad.
Right.
It's one thing to fall into a situation, the Stevie Wonder thing, here, hold this bag for me, and you get caught with the bag. Okay, that's a whole other level of stuff. But when you purposely, intentionally go out to commit a crime, the rapes, unreported because they're under 18.
Yeah.
The unreported rapes, they're gang raping girls and boys in these buildings. You see, locally, and people, adults know this. You see, but until it reaches their home,
they're not
going to say anything. Right. It can be in their building. Right?
There's fear. Fear is part of that.
Sure.
I mean, every community that we go in to organize, the first thing that we encounter is fear, because they have been traumatized for so long by the opposing side that they know that retribution or retaliation is going to come down their street.
And that's why, again, a lot of folks want to talk off the air. I've gotten 4 off the air want to talk, you see, because they're afraid that somebody recognized their voice. Now, fear not, beloved, I got a machine down here. I can push the button and distort your voice for you. So fear not. You can call back down here anytime. I got a button right down, see that blue down there?
Okay.
Baby, please. It's WHCR.
It's high tech. High tech,
WHCR. Can we talk? But anyway, so fear not. What I'm saying is, though, that we have to do something, and whatever I can do. You know, I'm only one, but he's only one, and that's how it begins.
Right. Yeah.
Organize
where you are.
I need that because of the fact that I've got folks that I would personally send to these workshops, because I go back to the days of Minnesink, okay, Camp Minnesink and Thorny. She would say, each one reach one, each one teach one. You see, you have to start somewhere with just that one. Hey, come in here and say hello to everybody. That's Sister Tita. Sister Tita Dixon in the house. We were sending her sympathies because her mother beat us all to heaven.
I know, right?
Her mother beat us all to heaven.
Amen.
See, and you know, I recall reading somewhere it said, "Weeping may endure for a night, you know, joy comes in the morning." So after you realize you've done all you can, then hey, you did all you could.
Amen.
And then God finished up where you left off and took her where she needed to be. No more pills, no more pain, no more suffering, no more this. So you're looking pretty good for a grieving daughter.
I'm trying. Today's going to be my second cry-free day.
Well,
I'm good.
And if it do come, that's all right, too.
Yeah, I'm good.
2 is open. Take 2. And if it does come, that's all right. We're not crying because of any type of guilt.
No, I'm celebrating. My mom lived a good life.
That's right.
Right.
You know, and those who knew my mother knew she was full of life.
She was that.
She liked to have fun. She was a practical joker.
Yes.
I don't need a chair shaker.
Is that where you get it from?
I sort of didn't fall too far from the tree. So, you know, I miss her, but I know that she's not suffering.
Right.
She had cancer for a year, didn't tell none of us, because she knew we probably would all dragged her to every specialist we knew. But even through that, she was good. I didn't know she was sick.
Okay.
And I be looking at everything like, your hair done grew half an inch. What's going on? Don't you cut it? You know, so I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good.
You got our love, and we just told everybody where to come out there and rock away.
Yeah, far.
So as soon as they say rock away, I go to the Niagara Falls. Slowly I turn. I start getting to, somebody's trying, she's trying to keep from crying. Hell, I'm trying to keep from crying, but I'm thinking about rock away. I still got Sandy in my chest.
And listen, they wouldn't let me, my friends wouldn't let me go to Rockaway during Sandy because, that's where I grew up. I'm from Rockaway. I'm from Rockaway Beach. I saw the pictures of the boardwalk that we played on that was in front of other people's
She's off 89th, 81st Street.
86th Street.
I'm 81st Street.
Oh, look at that. And I could not believe the devastation that was out there, and that was just the level 1.
Exactly.
So New York is so unprepared.
Exactly.
I mean, I know that they'll be, making some changes in the infrastructure.
No, you can't change nothing out there. Understand that. We on the water. It's surrounded on 3 sides by water.
Yeah.
So there's nothing you can do. I stood on my porch watching 10-foot wall of water come by, and I said, "Peace, be still."
Yes.
And didn't nothing happen. I couldn't understand it. So I said it again. Peace, be still. And watching my Mercedes float down the street. I said, "Well, that's that."
Life changing. It was a humble experience. I know that.
Yeah. That too. Stop. Change that. We'll start to cry in a minute. Excuse me. Let me do this here while I'm here. Thank you. Social machine.
Man Up in Harlem is a by men for men ministry that focuses on creating positive changes in the Harlem community through prayer and community service. The group hosts a men's empowerment hour every Wednesday at 7 p.m. in the Polo Grounds House and Community Room, and a weekly prayer walk every Thursday morning in several locations. At the prayer walk, members pray together in a football-style huddle about community issues. Man Up in Harlem's slogan is "Don't talk about it, be about it." If you'd like to join a prayer walk, meet at 6 a.m. at the 155th subway station for the Polo Grounds House Walk, or at the Dunkin' Donuts at 126 in Amsterdam for the Grand House Walk. For more information, please check out www.manupharlem.org.
All right, we're back on here now. We got that settled. Those of you that are watching on the computer screen, we're trying to figure out where that is coming from. And I've moved these lights here as best I can.
I don't know.
And I said that's a combination.
Maybe that's my mama.
Somebody said that this morning. That's it's coming between Joe Brown and her mother, sitting there watching all of us in here make fools of ourselves. In any event, Freddie Williams, Reverend Sir.
Yeah.
What's going on? What's the next thing on your calendar?
Well, of course, then there's Co-op City, and that's going to be a continuous work as well as with Antioch Baptist Church and with Coney Island. Then our next stop on the 23rd, we're going out to Newark to partner out there with our brothers and sisters in Newark to bring Saturday outreach out there as we partner for Peace 2013. We're looking diligently for other people to partner with us as we move forward to here in New York. Date to be announced for the Ride, Walk, and Rally for Peace. That's where we have motorcades from each borough converging on the Brooklyn Bridge, and then we walk across the Brooklyn Bridge into City Hall Park for a rally, hence the Ride, Walk, and Rally for Peace. We've been doing this. I believe this will be our 4th consecutive year of doing this, and we do it.
That's with the caskets?
That's with the caskets.
Yeah.
That's not just to bring awareness, but to let our people see, that we are tired.
Yes.
We are fed up.
But enough of us are not, though. See, here we go again, not to be...
No, I think like he said about being tired, there's 2 types of tired. There's tired when you're weary and just drained, and then like you said, there's tired when you're going to move in action and do something about it. So I think there's a lot of people who are tired, tired, and they don't even have to get up and go sometimes, even to get up and go, and that's what we need help.
I think
we need to get them stirred
I think
up.
when it gets closer to their doorway, though, I think when the hellhounds get close to their door, they'll come out.
In the last 6 years, what I've noticed is if there's a shooting, we get droves and droves of people. But after things start to die down, then so do the people die down.
The FBI says, and I read these stats a while ago, but they're probably still current now, that that's why Dave Dinkins got in trouble by allowing this disturbance to go on because FBI statistics said, well, they'll only be upset for 10 days, and after 10 days it'll just die down. And if we catalog or categorize events, you notice there's a actual time frame, it seems, where you don't even see it in the news anymore, even though the blood is still on the street, as it were. And that's how we are as a people. The attention as far as the latest news period, and then we just lose interest, even when it reaches our door.
Yeah, but like in regards to Black History, my Fannie Lou Hamer said, sick and tired of being sick and tired. And you have to get to that point where you get sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Before it reaches your house.
Yes.
Yeah, and then afterwards as well. Having strong community cannot be left to someone else to do.
Yes.
We all have to have an active part, a proactive part, in establishing and then having the sustainability of a strong community, and that calls for energies from every person, and in every walk of life, because we must educate the young people to come up and then take our place. I mean, there's going to be a day and there's going to be a time where I can't function like this no more.
Exactly.
So I need a Joshua.
So you're right.
I need a Joshua.
So you're right. Yeah. You see, and this is the problem, and
we can't allow the parents either to take it lightly, because like I said, you're a community servant person, you're a minister, and we all are out here to try to do what we can. He does the radio broadcasting, but really, I mean, I have children. I don't expect any parent, anybody else to raise my child for me. And then sometimes that's even a problem too, because when you're telling somebody else's child about something, then the parents want to get an answer. That's my child. Don't tell them. But the thing is, you have to recognize that this is your child. So if you have any value or any treasure that you want to feel like you want to keep it and protect it, you're going to do everything you can for that. So this child should be your treasure and your value that you birthed on this earth. And that you should not want anybody else to take that responsibility more seriously than you do.
Good morning, you're on the air.
Good morning, my brother Bill. This is Sister Earlene Cromer from Tabernacle.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm so happy to hear the discussion that you're having this morning. Truly, I don't know if you recall, but a few years back, I have called you about the same thing this young lady was just saying.
Yes.
There's a lot of people that feel that you should say nothing to their child. But it takes a village to raise a child. And I know we call Harlem a kingdom. Me and you, we call Harlem a kingdom.
Yeah, I stopped that colony, foolishness. I stopped that colony. There ain't no colony.
It takes all of us.
Kingdom of Harlem.
Yes, but it takes all of us to help. And it doesn't have to be your child, but it is our child.
I think that even though we usually met with consternation and they talk badly to us, I think we still can't stop.
No, we can't. Because I think, I don't know if you recall, but it was about an incident in the park.
Yeah.
And I called you, and I told y'all on the air about it. The young lady said to me, I'm a great-grandmother. She says to me,
I think she was
but
40.
you're not supposed to speak to her, to my child, that's my child.
Yeah.
And they don't even allow that in school, so you can't do it in the park.
Yeah, indeed.
That the teacher can't say anything to your child. I said, what?
Well, the right
when
teacher.
I was a kid, they used
the
to
right
take a
teacher.
ruler.
No, well, the right teacher. The right teacher. But I thank you for calling, my sister. God bless your heart. Give everybody at Tabernacle my regards. But now, Co-op City, Harlem River houses, housing developments in general, are a built-in breeding ground for gang violence, in my opinion. I go back to I.D. Robbins' philosophy way back in the 70s, okay? Urban anthropology is my major, okay, when I was matriculating. And I said, well, my pinky up, I said that. But now we found that all that talk in the 70s about the dehumanization process that goes into high-rise buildings is coming to pass. We're seeing now that our children and our grandchildren, speaking of a 40-year-old grandmother, if you will, are now without guidance, without leadership. They don't look to the church. Where can they look to get what they need to provide an alternative? Yes, you've got a program on Saturdays. What about those that don't hear us today? What can the other ones, we said each one reach one. So what can we say to, as we close down, what can we say to the other kids, the fringe kids?
You know, for a very long time, we've been doing our positive presence for peace. And one of the key reasons why we did it is because we wanted to identify the leadership. Our young people have their own leadership. What has to happen is that those of us who are conscious need to identify that leadership, connect with that leadership, and then start to mentor that leadership.
Right. Okay.
Okay. That's the whole thing behind the Joshua process.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you don't train up
a
child.
Yeah. I like that. That's good. That's good. This is why I think that it was important to put a different face, if you will, on National Action Network. You got Tamika out there, you got you out there. That way the message is the same unilateral message, but it's not attached to one person who may or may not attract the attention required. The Joshua process, to clone yourself, Vernon Williams, to have other people like you to be out here and do what Al Taylor started up there in the Polo Grounds houses, which grew into which morphed into your thing. Even I got to include him. Even our brother Jack, you know, bring him. He's doing his thing.
Brother Akil as well, Street Corner Resources as well.
Exactly.
I mean, so there are many of us out there doing the work, and we are partnering together. But we need more.
Yes.
Right. This rescue effort. Here I go. Here I feel my help coming.
Come on. You got to give you 5 minutes, preacher.
This rescue effort is going to take more than just us. Okay, because when you put in your 2 hours and then you come up and do your 2 hours and then you come up and do your 2 hours and I do my 2 hours, that's only 8 hours.
Yeah.
And it might not be the effective 8 hours.
Right.
24 hours.
It might only be the informative 8 hours. We need to be 24.
24 hours
7.
right about now.
Yeah.
Yes. At the time we're
and our director, our executive director, Tamika Mallory, she's doing some amazing things just across this nation. I have a tremendous amount of respect for her, and honestly, it was Miss Tamika Mallory who changed my mindset. So the work that I was doing just on a small level, you know, I saw the work that this young woman was doing and how passionate she was, and I was like, you know what, I have the ability to do this, you know, and I stepped out on faith. And, you know, being heading this chapter in the Bronx, I mean, you're looking at a lot of issues ahead of you, you know. But I know that if I was executive director at this young age, you know, she's made so many milestones just in her career, just in her path, you know. So I couldn't do anything else but to follow those who have done it. And that was one thing Mon Dukes talked about last night at this Black celebration. It was not just to be a good leader, but you have to be a good follower, you know. And I'm following in the steps of our president, Reverend Al Sharpton, executive director Tamika Mallory, and I only hope to make such a mark in my community. But yeah, I'm on the front lines with this, and I think just helping others to change their. I am a parent.
Of how many?
One son.
Okay.
He'll be 23 this year.
23.
Get out of Dodge.
Yes,
Didn't I say 40-year-old grandparents?
Yeah.
Didn't I say?
Where is the fountain of youth? Because I know you found it.
And you,
I need to go get me a sip.
well, listen, I appreciate that, you know, and it's a stress-free life, and I pray, you know, and I have faith, you know, so I don't stress the little things, and I only focus on what I can do. Right. And that's what I teach others out there. Focus on what you can do. What can you do? And when you write that list, because we can all talk about what we can't do, I can't do this, but focus on what you can do, you'll be surprised at the steps that you'll be able to make.
Absolutely.
So that's what we need to be.
And it's in your hands, Adam Paul said. It's in your hands.
In your hands.
Amen. Said steps. It's very important that they understand that. Don't try to master everything all at one time, because it's not going to happen. But like I said, take the steps first, and then you see gradually the growth of what you're doing. But people want to just, I think, try to overwhelm themselves with doing it all at one time. It doesn't work like that.
Not at all.
Okay. Wow. We've said a lot in a short period of time. Yeah. That means you got to come back.
Oh, Brother Bill,
You're
thank you.
always
I'd love to come back.
You know, and don't have to wait for him to, you know, pull the Cadillac up to bring you down. You
Okay.
Because I got a Cadillac too. I wouldn't got me a Cadillac. I want to be like Reverend Vernon. I wouldn't got me a Cadillac. That's right. I so did.
Not bad.
We got a roof
With no sun rooftop.
Got a sun. I got a sun rooftop and the thing. That's
Kicking the scene.
pretty white. Got me a white Cadillac, pearl Cadillac.
Oh, nice.
So you're right.
All right.
And when I ride, I got to sit like this when I ride it.
Gangster lean. Brother Bill, you got a gangster lean going on over
part
there?
in that song that says, just be grateful, though, for what
Baby,
you got.
please.
Amen. Let's be grateful.
After watching that Mercedes-Benz float down the street,
Yes, Lord.
boy was humbled
Oh, yeah.
and grateful.
Oh, yeah.
You see, so the Lord did make a way out of no way.
Grateful.
And by the way, on that same note, I want to thank you all for your tokens of love and the cards and letters and those fat cards and fat envelopes that came, you know. The people in the post office were teasing me. They had to put a special section aside for Brother Bill's mail, you know, and well, it helped us through the Sandy recovery. And once I get this thing out my chest, I'll be even more better, you know. But again, as the material things we replaced, you know, having had a face-to-face thing with the demon, I said, now carest thou not that we perish. You made the storm, and you made me.
Amen.
And I'm not asking you to take one or the other, but can I have another chance? You see?
Yeah.
And I didn't turn your face to the wall and get 15 more out of it, I understand. So here we are, thankful and grateful indeed. And
you know, I think I need to do something as well in that vein. During that time, that 22 days, there were people across this city who allowed me to partner with them and partner with me, and we were able to serve in Far Rockaway, in Canarsie, and in Coney Island. And if I did not say thank you, I say thank you right now that you allowed me to fill up U-Haul trucks, fill up the Cadillac.
That's
and
right,
other
brother.
cars.
Brother, come out my block. I came down. I told you I was one of the proudest African-American men in the world. Here he comes.
To God be the glory.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I really want to thank the people over at Riverside Church. I want to thank the people, you know, all of those volunteers that drove trucks and cars with me and packed bags.
And you know, the work is still going on now. That's another reason why I have been somewhat reluctant, in all honesty, to go back out there. I've got work to do in the house still, but the people are still online.
Yeah,
getting
they're
food.
still struggling,
Yeah. We were out there, so I have to give it up
How
to
recently?
my brothers and sisters. I was out there personally. It's been over 30 days, honestly.
Okay, I was out there 2 days ago.
But they're still.
And there's still, folks are
Yeah.
still online getting food.
Yeah.
That Red Cross truck, I used to hate hearing that
Yeah.
thing. The Red Cross truck comes to the hot food, and you come out there and folks are online for the hot food. You know, and it's still, I call it Beirut by the sea now.
Oh, man.
That's how bad it still is, you know. And now they're talking about condemning property, and I knew that was coming.
Yeah.
They're going to condemn those properties.
And
And
Cuomo's looking to buy up the. So I think I read
buy
something
out
about
people, give them the face value of their land.
property.
Yeah, but you know,
There's something else behind
Yeah,
that.
let's-
There's the real estate.
let's
you
investigate
know that.
The real estate. Ain't no
Research.
investigation. I'll tell you what it is right now. 954. She flagged the tape. 950. That the real estate interests have had their eye on that for a long
That's right,
time.
that's right.
Look at Auburn by the sea. That was the first indication of who. Then there's two groups they're trying to move away from there. One group wear black hats, and the other group don't wear no hats.
But what's the name of the development? Right, I don't even want to come in.
Wavecrest. Wavecrest.
Amazing. How they
Ocean
have
Village.
this stuff batted down.
And then further
Ahead of
down,
time.
Wavecrest, you see. But then the folks with the black hats, okay, there's a element trying to move them too. You see, trying to move them back out to 5 towns, opposed to coming out Seagirt and on down. You see, those black hat folks ain't doing much of moving. They're pretty stayed in their ways, and God bless them, and God has blessed them being fixed in their ways. They don't give in to modern man's foolishness. Then there's us, and then there's the others, that the real estate interests are solely purging that whole beachfront area to make everything like Auvergne by the sea.
Sound like a Robert Moses plan.
It is. It is. It is Moses, a plan. It is. So we pray, and we'll see what happens with that. But there'll always be poor among us, I recall reading somewhere. There'll always be poor among us, and there'll always be folks like y'all
crying
to
out. The voice
help
is crying
the poor
out. Yes.
and to give the poor and the disenfranchised hope for tomorrow.
Amen.
And I want to thank you for being part of our show. It's your first time down.
Yes.
All right, so now the formalities have been done away with.
Yeah.
Come on down anytime.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you
And
for
of
having
course,
me.
my beloved Gigi, and of course, we've been here since, and we'll be, and you're welcome to be here. Thank you again for all that you do.
And thank you, Brother Bell.
And see y'all real soon.
Thank you.
All right. Quite appropriate to go out on.